Here we go. It is a Thursday. Bills, Dolphins tonight. Greg Cosell in 1 hour. Live in L.A., it's The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. Our first full big week NFL. This is week 2 of the league. It feels like a little bit our first big full week back. Labor Day a couple weeks ago. J-Mac, I just saw the day. The NFL averaged 21 million viewers per game for the opening week. It's the highest on record.
Wonderful. That's awesome.
Now, years ago, people were protesting it because of Colin Kaepernick. Apparently, they've come back.
Look at you doing politics 2 days in a row. Well done.
That's not politics. That's Colin Kaepernick. So they're blowing through records. Everybody's back. Everybody loves it. It's been such a popular league that, I can remember NBA guys have been making money and shoes and endorsements forever, and now NFL guys are all over commercials. Travis Kelce's on everything. But quarterback remains the glamour position in easily the most popular sport in America. You can be an average quarterback to below average. If you're athletic like Justin Fields, you still have fans. Most quarterbacks actually get more publicity outside of a Mahomes than they're probably deserving of. I was thinking about this morning. There's only 2 quarterbacks in this league. 21 million viewers per game. Easily the most popular sport in America. It is separated from everything else. It is the English Premier League in the UK. It's separated from all the other sports. Their tennis, their cricket, it's not close. There's only 2 quarterbacks, I would say, that are underrated. The first, and he won't be by the end of the year, is Justin Herbert. As a rookie with a bad line, a bad defense, and an overwhelmed coach, 31 touchdowns, 10 picks, and a passer rating of 98. It was very Andrew Luck. They didn't have much around him. The coach wasn't right. The O-line was bad. He could only win by a shootout. 5 rushing touchdowns, 67% completion percentage, 31 touchdowns, 10 picks, 98 passer rating. It was very Andrew Luck. A shaky protection, Bryce Young can't play. Shaky protection, bad up front, Zach Wilson's a disaster. Caleb Williams is overwhelmed. Justin Herbert's first game goes to overtime with Patrick Mahomes. His first game. He was 5th in passing yards that year. I looked it up this morning. 5th in passing yards. He was ahead of Aaron Rodgers and Matt Stafford. Justin Herbert is a rookie. So he's underrated. And a lot of it is he hadn't had the support until Jim Harbaugh. And now he's got 2 great tackles. The other quarterback that I truly believe is underrated, and I cannot for the life of me figure it out, is Lamar Jackson. So he's 20-1 against the NFC. Meaning, if you don't face him regularly, he's even better than Mahomes. If you don't face him regularly, there's nothing in the league like him. You can't prepare for him. Good teams last year. Detroit got blown out by him. San Francisco, nobody knows what to do with him. San Francisco controlled Aaron Rodgers. San Francisco against Lamar, they don't know what to do with him. Detroit couldn't figure him out. Lamar Jackson is 1-5 against Patrick Mahomes, who nobody beats. And that's my guess is, because he can't beat the king, people don't think he's good. MVP first year as a starter. He's good in division, good against his rivals. Toughest division in football, 16-7. But outside of Baltimore and NFL locker rooms, players love him. He doesn't get any respect. I mean, good God, folks, C.J. Stroud's really good. He is already universally accepted and loved. He's 10-6 or 11-6. What is he? I mean, but Colin, he's a runner. You guys love Cam Newton. Cam Newton never had back-to-back winning seasons. People defended Cam Newton until the day he retired. Michael Vick was loved. People loved watching Michael Vick. People defended Michael Vick. They don't with Lamar Jackson. Well, he's not very good in the pocket. I looked that up this morning. As a pocket passer last year, 102 passer rating, completed 68.5% of his throws. That's right up there with Matt Stafford. He's pretty good in the pocket. So I can't explain it. You defended Cam Newton. C.J. Stroud's already baked in. I mean, we love Burrow by about his 4th start. Kyler Murray was accepted by many until the video game stories came out. But Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson, are doing things that are virtually impossible in the NFL. They're underrated at the glamour position. So, speaking of quarterbacks, tonight is really interesting because it's Tua, who's a good player, against Josh Allen, who's a great player. And it really does show not all games are the same. Now, we know the Super Bowl is bigger than regular season games, but even in the regular season, it shows you the power of division rivalry games. Buffalo and Miami, that's a rivalry. The cold weather, the warmest weather. The coldest weather, the warmest weather. Northern, down by the Keys. So Tua against the Bills has been bad. 1-6, passer rating that's like Tebow-ish, 77. And it shows you the power of rivals. Jim Harbaugh was winning 10 games a year at Michigan, but he couldn't beat Ohio State. And literally media people, irresponsibly in my opinion, media people were like, get him out of Michigan, can't coach. He'd won everywhere, San Diego, 49ers, standing at Michigan. He could not beat Ohio State, and people, journalists, lost their mind. Ryan Day now has the highest winning percentage in college football. He can't beat Michigan, and people are all over him. Jared Goff, with Sean McVay, was 42-20 as a starter and got to a Super Bowl. But do you know why Sean McVay bailed on him? You remember that game, don't you? Up north, he couldn't beat the Niners. And McVay and Shanahan have a very intense rivalry. He just couldn't beat the Niners. He was 42-20. He'd outdueled Mahomes on a Monday Night Football game. He could go toe-to-toe with anybody. 42-20 Super Bowl. Couldn't beat his rival. So the Tua's issue, and why this is a big game tonight for Tua. I know it's week 2, but it's a big game. Not only can he not beat Buffalo, he's bad against Buffalo, and Josh Allen is unbelievable against Miami. So when you juxtapose the two on the same game, one sideline, one the other, Josh Allen looks bigger than ever, and Tua looks smaller. And as a head coach, you have to beat your rival. Go back to the Harbaugh early days. It was insane watching the media bail on Harbaugh. And then what happened last year made this all worse, and tonight so important for Tua. Do you remember last year? It was the final game, which is Week 18. Tua was at home, division title on the line. In the second half, Tua got 5 possessions. With that receiving core and that coach and those running backs, 0 points. Tua, who's already small for a quarterback, looked even smaller. A standalone game tonight against Buffalo is not another game. I don't care that he dropped 70 against Denver. I don't care that he led the NFL in passing yards or gets MVP votes. He's got to win tonight. A small guy that looks smaller every time he faces his division rival, and here's Tua.
When you know that another team has beaten you so often, has had so much success, does that eat away at you? Is it something you think about as you prep for that team, knowing the success they've had?
Well, that's going to be what's written out there until we do something about that. That's going to be the narrative, that we can't beat the Bills, and until we do beat them and we beat them consistently, like, none of that's going to change.
Can't wait for tonight. I do like Miami to win. I'm going against recent trending in history. I'm going to take Miami to win 27-20. Could also turn the hat around. That would probably help a little. That's worth half a point, in my opinion. But I'm not going to get into it. It's only Thursday. It's only week 2. I'm not going to get into it. I do think that's worth at least half a point, but no big deal. So it's interesting. It's too early in the season, would you agree, J-Mac, to have a definitive opinion on almost anything. But you can see red flags after the first week. You can see red flags.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it's tough to say, come out, Daniel Jones is the worst quarterback in the league. You can't say something like that. But we have 4 years of data.
Right.
Or 5 years, maybe, on Jones.
Is there? I've got a red flag based on what I've seen and what I heard last night.
About Joe Burrow?
No, about Caleb Williams.
Ooh. So you're loading up on the Texans this week, huh?
Again, it's not a definitive opinion. Little red flag. Just something to worry about. Anybody listening to my show that owns a business, small business. You don't have a definitive opinion on an employee, but if you see a couple of things happen 2 or 3 times in a row over the course of 2 or 3 months, it's a little bit of a red flag. The employee maybe can't handle that, not good around this person, not good on those assignments. A little red flag. It's small.
Well, remember, his opener was buried at 1 o'clock with like 1 billion games. He's going to be on an island game now. If he has a